Valerie Plame is beginning a new chapter of her life as the co-author of a spy novel called Blowback. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how much of what you learned at the CIA is part of this now fiction book, this spy novel?
It is a book of fiction, but informed by my experiences. I develop an expertise in nuclear counterproliferation and the spycraft, and I tried to bring everything, places I've been, people I've met, and put it into Blowback.
I got the impression you wanted a realistic portrayal because, you know, quite often we always hear about guns, we always hear about sex and female agents. Nothing wrong with that.
I know, they're great.
Yeah, I would imagine those are great tools, Valerie. But I got the
not
impression,
together.
but not together. I got the impression you were trying to show something else. True?
Absolutely.
With Vanessa
Pearson,
who has initials VP, just saying.
Crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you're right, because whenever I have seen female operations officers from the CIA portrayed in popular culture, no matter where it is, books, movies, I roll my eyes.
Yeah.
They really are paper dolls. They are overly sexualized, over physical. There isn't any sense. They're cartoon characters, cardboard. So I wanted to do a much more realistic ops officer, someone that
Which means what?
Which means an operations officer.
No, I know that means realistic, which means what in your mind?
In my mind, someone who shows that the job is lonely, loves her job, trying to figure out and navigate all of that, because it really is kind of a crazy career, which maybe you don't realize until you're away from it.
What did you think of the character in Zero Dark 30?
That was a composite character, that one played, the woman played by Jessica Chastain. First of all, she was not an ops officer. She was an analyst, not in the field. And the thing I really find disappointing is that they made it look like it was, for dramatic purposes, one person who was pursuing this. And I'm all for a courageous and strong woman who perseveres. But it was really the work of dozens over years who finally led to bin Laden.
And just to get on this, because you want to have a very accurate portrayal, you say, of a CIA ops officer in your book. What about Homeland? I mean, Claire Danes, probably one of the most compelling characters, I think, in television, other than Walter White, really, on Breaking Bad. But you think about this, and yet she's so brilliant and so smart, but she's also crazy.
She literally crazy, yes. Exactly. She's a wonderful actress, and she brings to that everything she's got, and it's great TV, but it's not realistic. And I tried very hard in Blowback. Everything with tradecraft, everything, how you communicate clandestinely, how you recruit an asset, all of that is very accurate, very realistic. And when I see, for instance, on TV, they use, say, cell phones in the CIA headquarters, not really.
Yeah. What is the most important thing that an operator in the field needs to have, other than intelligence?
Curiosity. Like you.
That's a favorite word.
Right? Everyone has a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes those quiet people that you're speaking to, you're pulling them out. People understand when you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, who they are.
Yeah.
Everyone has a
What do
story.
you think of the NSA scandal today, though, when we talk about how much the government is looking in on what we're saying, how they're operating?
Yeah.
Does that ring true to you?
Well, I find it astounding. There is this tension, of course, between security and privacy, but as we know from the story that broke this summer, and as it continues to develop, the breadth and the extent of NSA the surveillance on us is really something. And it seemed that there was sort of a collective shrug when this first came out. People, oh, I'm not a terrorist, I don't care.
It's okay.
And we're accustomed to so many retailers knowing exactly what we want. So there was this sort of like, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is this is why it matters. Because if you have an overzealous prosecutor, or as Senator Frank Church said back in 1975, listen, this is an abyss from which we cannot return. When the government has that much information, that much power, the potential for misuse is enormous. Scary.
And the timeliness of your book, too, talking about what's going on in Iran. and how it's manifesting now and in your book, you must have been doing the hula about that. Really. 'Cause
Quietly.
yes, it's very timely.
Well,
very timely.
My experience in the CIA, a lot of it focused on proliferation, whether it was terrorist or rogue operators or Iran, North Korea, so forth. So it was important to me that the central premise of Blowback started with that, because all these other problems don't mean anything if you don't get that one right.
Everybody I've ever interviewed in the national security field says the ultimate fear is terrorist and nuclear weapons.
Yes. It's that nexus, absolutely. The spread of nuclear technology and, of course, the increase in terrorism makes that the #1 security threat that we have.
Thank you.
Blowback goes on sale when?
October 1st.
Today.
Today.
Vince
Thank you.
Gilligan, nice to see you, Valerie.